Hi all, in this video session we are going to deep dive into high order observable operators. This is in continuous of previous video, and in this video we are going to use a in-house developed playground which will help you to understand how different operator works. You can play with it. So let me first of all explain how to use that playground. All you need to go to frontpro.in and then you go to tools, observables. If you are not clear about what is observables, you must watch my previous video which will help you to develop your basic understanding about observables, how it can be used, what are they, and in which use cases you should go with observables and achieve reactive programming. Okay, so here I need to click on high order operators. The moment you click, it will bring you another screen where you can see data stream, and then you will be provided with selecting an operator out of 4 operators: switch, merge, concat and exhaust. The moment you click on switchMap, there are few buttons which will appear. All you need to click on start and then next. You will see there is a timer which is running. As soon as it completes, the output will be displayed on the bottom of the page. So I'll explain very quickly. If I go to MergeMap and then start again and click twice, you will see it's actually merging the output. So you can see first and second. Let's see the ConcatMap. Play. I click twice again, but this time the output is little delayed. Okay. exhaustMap. I'll start again and I'll click 4 times. Now let's see what happens. The output is only first. So we'll try to understand why the behavior is changed and how we can use these operators in different use cases. So let's begin with switchMap. So I will select switchMap and then start next. We'll wait for next 5 seconds to get the output and see. So here we are getting the output as first. You can see the context is on the first only. This is nothing but a data array where we have 5 strings, right? And if I click next, then again the data is being broadcasted, right, based on the high order operator we have selected. Now you can see that when I set the context to second, the output is second. But what if we before completing the 5 seconds I switch to other number? So let's switch to 5. So I'll click twice. Now let's wait. Now you can see the output is 5. Why we did not get third and fourth, that we need to understand. Okay, so basically what happens, if before completing the number of second, if you change the context, actually switch my operator cancel the previous request. So let's try to understand with another example. So let's take an example to understand the switch map. In this example there are 2 players. One is hitting the ball, another is catching the ball, and this player hits a ball one at a time. So what happens, this player gets some time to catch it and put it into the bucket, right? Now you don't say that this player is not catching, rather he is doing yoga. I understand he's in yoga pose. I'm not that much of good in drawing, hope you understand. Okay. Anyway, so what happens, uh, actually the essence of this is that this second player who is catching the ball is getting the time to catch and put it into the bucket. But what happens if this player hit many balls in very short span of time. So this player, the second player who is catching the ball, will not get that much of time to catch and put it in the bucket. Rather, he may have to drop few balls, something like this. Okay. So before processing the request, he is able to cancel that. He is able to not to choose that ball or something like that, or not to choose that request. So switch map exactly does the same things in our example. So if I go back to our playground, what is happening here? Every time we are sending some data stream, you can see first, second, third, fourth, fifth. These are the part of a data stream, and through these buttons we are controlling those streams, right? This is stop and this is refresh. Now let me stop it and reset everything again, switch map and start. And then again, if I quickly click, okay, now you can see this context has been switched to third, so the output would be third. So hope it makes sense. Now let's understand switchMap through the code snippet. In order to develop that playground, there had been a lot of code, but this is the essence which you need to understand. So let's try to understand this code snippet. Line number 1 is importing basic of observables stuff, which is observables, subject, subscription, and all those things. Line number 2, where we are importing the high order operators, concateMap, exhaust, MergeMap, and switch. Line number 4 and 5 are nothing but declaring variables, whereas line number 7 is the data array which is being displayed on the screen. Line number 9 and 10 is initializing a subject and converting that subject into observable that you can put into ng on it or in other libraries or framework. Line number 12 to 14 is applying the pipe and using the switch map, which will actually change the behavior of observable. So using a pipe is something you can assume there is a stream and you want to use that stream and do something on that. So let's take a very basic example. Suppose there is a stream of water and you want to change the color of that water. So what will you do? You will put a pipe, and on that pipe, suppose you are putting some colors, maybe red color or green color. Color of the water gets changed. When observables are broadcasting messages or giving your output, you are putting a pipe and then you are applying a operator over there, which is line number 13 here, switch map. I mean, it's changing the behavior of the observables, and the delay is nothing but I want to intensely delay the output so that you can take another action. So you must have observed that I was quickly clicking on next button and the output was different. From line number 16 to 19 is subscribing that observable so that you can put that into the screen through interpolation in Angular or in different ways. From line number 21 to 24 is the next button method, which is nothing but getting the current index and getting the text from that at the data array, and based on that it actually using the next method of the subject what we have declared at line number 5. So it's something you are broadcasting a message and all the subscribers are listening to it. If you are not getting this, again I would like to recommend my previous video where we will understand how observables works, how we can subscribe them. So this is the very basic code snippet which will help you to understand how exactly you should do. All you need to do, declare the variable. One is subject, another is observable, and then convert that subject as observable, and then use the any operator you want to use it by using the pipe, subscribe that, broadcast the message, and that's it. Now let's see where switch map can be very beneficial. So in order to understand that, I'll take an example of search on Amazon. I'm going to search computer here. You will see that when I search, my output is getting filtered accordingly. But what is happening behind the scene? So let me do the inspect and go to the developers tool and then network tab. Now we will observe the moment I type here, you will see that it's actually hitting some APIs. Now you can see there are many APIs hit here, and if I click on the C, here you can see this, the prefix is C, then CO, then COM, then COMP, and accordingly. Okay, now everything and every time we are getting the response as well. You can see here. Okay, so this is something which we can improve on, right? It maybe it's coming from the cache or something in Amazon that I cannot comment. Maybe they are using in their best way, but I'm trying to bring the things in context of Rxjs observables. Now try to understand this with another example. In this example, there is a text box which searches Star Wars character. The moment you start typing, it will hit the REST API calls. So logically, what should happen? The moment you type something, right, it is hitting the REST API, but you will observe it actually also cancelling that. Suppose I want to search again Tony, right? So it actually cancelled 3 calls. These calls got cancelled. And whereas if I look into this, it actually provides some response, though there is no result. But what happened, it went to server try to find is there any character by the name of Tony or not, and it resulted as null because there is no match. So don't you think it's a good experience, or it will improve the performance of a web application if you do not hit any REST API until user stopped typing, and that can be achieved by using switchMap. What is happening behind the scene? Let's try to understand by exploring the code. Let me zoom in. So everything is here. Now this search is nothing but your search box, this one. On the value chain, what we are doing through the using pipe operator, we are applying switchMap. Okay, and whatever the characters you have typed here, based on that we are making a REST API call. So internally what is happening, switchMap sees that okay, there is a still request is coming, then cancel the previous one and go for the latest. Switchmap is really handy to implement Typeahead. I hope this makes sense. Please go through this link, try to understand the code and implement it in your projects. It will give you more confidence and clarity. Okay, now let's for remaining 3 high order operators, MergeMap, concateMap and exhaustMap, I'll be little quick because there is nothing much change. You can see all we have changed the operator here and everything remains same with the MergeMap, for the concateMap and for the exhaustMap. Let's jump into the playground. I'll start explaining the output of all operators. So let's begin with switchMap. We have already seen multiple examples. Let's get the output. So all you need to click on why this output, and here it explains switchMap. What it does actually, it actually unsubscribes from the previous inner observables and switches to the new one. So we have seen on the type ahead that it was cancelling the previous request, and when user stops, then it was making the call to the server. where to use that. Use for get request or cancelable requests like search. Next is MergeMap. So how does it work? We got all three outputs. So basically it works parallelly. MergeMap process inner observables in parallel. Use when order is not important at all. Use for put, post and delete methods when order is not important. For an example, suppose you want to update a particular record, right, in any order, then you can use it. But where you want to do some sequential work like update, then do something, or communicate to other component, in that context you should use concatMap. So let's see the output. So I'm on the third string. I hope it will give all the output. Here is second and then third. Okay, now you see the example. Now here we see the output. ConcatMap, wait for the inner observable to complete before processing the next. Use for get, post and put request when order is important. So you can figure out what to do next based on the previous output, right? So in that context you should use ConcatMap. ExhaustMap, I'll just quickly click 3 times. Now the output says that ignore all the subsequent subscription requests until it completes. Use for login when you don't want more login requests until it initial one is complete. Okay, so suppose some user has entered his username password and click on that. So it will straightforward go to for the authentication process and will ignore any subsequent request. It is just opposite to switchMap. Okay, where we were ignoring the previous request and switching to the latest one, whereas it is sticking to the first request and ignoring the rest ones. So I hope it very much clear. Merge and concateMap is for sequence. Merge is when the sequence is not important, order is not important. Concat is when is order important. Switch, always switch to latest. Exhaust, always stick to the first request. As simple as that. I hope it makes it clear for you and you will enjoy this video. If you're not clear, do watch multiple times, repeat it, discuss with your friends, your colleagues, and do share and subscribe. It takes a lot of time to put the things together and bring good content. I hope you'll like it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, stay healthy. Bye bye. Take care.